After being exposed to heartbreak, poor wife's daughter returns aspiring to become a millionaire. Sarah stared blankly at the diner's worn linoleum floor, her heart heavy with days of struggle. She poured coffee for the regulars, their stories a backdrop to her own silent despair. Her husband had left, chasing dreams that shimmered like city lights, while she remained in Maplewood, grappling with bills and a teenage daughter who seemed to drift further from her every day. The diner buzzed with laughter, but in Sarah's world, laughter felt distant. Lily burst into her life like a whirlwind. After years of attending a prestigious college in the city, she returned, arms filled with ambition and ideas that cracked the small-town shell around Sarah's heart. "Mom!" she exclaimed, her eyes sparkling like bright stars. "I have a plan. I'm going to create an app that'll help businesses thrive online." Sarah felt the walls close in. Those words echoed the fancy dreams her husband had once whispered, dreams that vanished the moment he stepped out the door. "Lily, this is Maplewood. It's not the city. You can't just create an app." Her voice wavered, not because she doubted her daughter's intelligence, but because she feared the wild ambitions could shatter the fragile life they'd built. Days passed like heavy raindrops, each bringing more tension. Lily's bright ideas felt foreign to Sarah, who valued tradition and hard work. They'd sit across from each other at the kitchen table, silence thick and stifling, stares locked in a painful stalemate. Every clash between their dreams felt like a tug of war, each end pulling apart their once inseparable bond. Tension peaked at the town hall meeting. Sarah's heart thudded loudly in her chest as she surveyed the crowd gathered to discuss looming business closures. An overwhelming sense of dread settled over the room. Neighborhood friends looked weary, their lives hanging by a thread. Lily stood, nervous but resolute, presenting her vision with passion that brought a glimmer of hope to Sarah. Just as the murmurs of skepticism began, Sarah's protective nature ignited. "Wait!" she called out, her voice reverberating through the hall. "Listen, we've endured together. Change is scary but necessary. Lily can help us." As the words poured from her heart, she felt a shift within the crowd uniting their shared hardships with her daughter's promise. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue." As stories intertwined, the crowd began to see beyond their fears. Perhaps together, they could withstand the chaos of change. Hope flickered like a candle in the dark. But just as the light began to warm the space between mother and daughter, a secret loomed, ready to disrupt their fragile connection. Would they be able to navigate this new relationship, packed with ambitions and dreams? As the meeting wrapped up and the crowd started to dissipate, Sarah and Lily exchanged troubled glances, their journey hanging by a delicate thread. The air was thick with uncertainty, leaving an ache in their chests. The question lingered. Could they keep pushing through the pain, or would the weight of their family's past break them apart once and for all? The following days were a blur of emotions that tangled up Sarah's heart. The diner buzzed while she served coffee, but her mind was miles away, lingering on Lily's dreams. The tension between them stretched like an elastic band, taut and ready to snap. Each time Lily brought up her app or another idea, Sarah felt her chest tighten. On one hand, she wanted to support her daughter, but on the other, fear clawed at her. "Mom," Lily said one evening, her voice trembling with hope, "can we meet with some local business owners? I want to show them what we can do." Sarah's heart sank. And what if they laugh at you? What if they shut you down? "They won't. They'll see how we can help. Please just trust me," Lily pleaded, her eyes shimmering with determination. Sarah's grip on her mug tightened, the heat radiating into her palms. She wanted to scream that it wasn't just Lily who was afraid. She was terrified too. But as she looked into her daughter's passionate gaze, she felt something shift inside her. The next day, Sarah found herself standing in the local bakery, the sweet aroma of muffins hanging in the air. She could see Lily at one of the tables, animatedly talking to Mr. Thompson, the owner. Her daughter's enthusiasm was magnetic, drawing people in, and for the first time, Sarah felt a flicker of hope. But as Lily spoke, Sarah overheard snippets from another booth. "Isn't this just a young girl with big ideas? This town is behind the times." That same old fear bubbled back to the surface, suffocating the spark of hope. For a moment, she hesitated. Did she really want to support something that could lead them to disappointment? When Lily wrapped up the meeting, she beamed with excitement. "Did you see him, Mom? I think he's on board." In that moment, Sarah realized she had a choice. She could either continue to wrap her daughter's dreams in layers of doubt, or slowly begin to peel those layers away. "Lily," Sarah said, her voice unsteady, "maybe we should look for some help. I know some folks who might support you, if you just share your idea more broadly." Lily's face lit up, bright as the midday sun. "Really? You'll help me?" As the two ventured back home, the conversation shifted. They laughed and dreamed of how the app might come to life. The room felt lighter, laughter weaving back into the fabric of their days. But as the excitement flourished, Sarah's mind wrestled with the darker thoughts. A lingering fear prickled at her. What if Lily's ambition drove her away, just like her father? That evening, as they prepared dinner together, Sarah needed to know. "Lily, what if this doesn't work out? What if Maplewood isn't as welcoming as we hope?" "Mom, what if it does work?" Lily replied, her confidence unwavering. "What if we turn this town around?" The thought was intoxicating. For the first time, Sarah tasted a hint of possibility, allowing it to blend with her fears. She found herself standing at a crossroads, comfort in the known or the wild unknown with her daughter. Just then, a call came through on Sarah's phone. A renowned entrepreneur from the city was visiting Maplewood. He wanted to meet with local business owners. "What if I could introduce you both?" she said slowly, excitement bubbling up against her fears. But as she dialed the number, her heart raced. Was she taking a leap of faith toward a brighter future, or towards another heartbreak? The call would change everything. Sarah held her breath, waiting to see what would unfold next. Would this be the moment they either united in triumph or faced another painful rift? As Sarah waited for the call to connect, she could hear the soft ticking of the wall clock in the background, each tick amplifying her anxiety. Her fingers trembled against the screen, and a bead of sweat formed at the nape of her neck. The timing felt like the universe had set this moment up for them, a test of their strength, hope, and the delicate fabric of their relationship. "Mom, are you okay?" Lily asked, her brow furrowing in concern. She reached across the table, placing her hand over Sarah's. The warmth of Lily's touch grounded her. "Just nervous," Sarah admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. The phone finally rang, jarring Sarah from her thoughts. She answered and introduced herself, her voice steady despite the pounding in her chest. "Ms. Thompson, thank you for reaching out. I'm excited about the potential collaboration. Why don't we set up a time for me to visit?" The conversation flowed smoothly, and soon enough, a date was set for this entrepreneur to come to Maplewood. Sarah felt a rush of adrenaline. "What if this really works?" she breathed, daring to imagine a sense of pride in her daughter's venture. Lily jumped up from her seat. "This is amazing, Mom. We have to prepare." The enthusiasm radiating from her was infectious. Each idea they had felt like a step toward building something real, something to believe in. As they mapped out plans together that night, Sarah felt as if they were building more than an app. They were constructing a bridge between their dreams and their fears. Laughter filled the kitchen, banishing the shadows that had lingered for too long. Weeks slipped by swiftly as they worked tirelessly. Their evenings turned into brainstorming sessions, filled with the clatter of kitchen utensils and the glow of laptops. But no matter how exciting their progress, Sarah's heart wrestled with an undercurrent of worry. "What if he doesn't see what I see?" Lily suddenly mused one night, her focus drifting. "What if he thinks our idea is just dumb?" Sarah turned to her daughter, her heart breaking a little. This was it. the moment where she needed to be even braver than before. "It's not dumb, Lily. You're not dumb. We have something special, and we just need to show him the heart behind it." Lily looked at her, the weight of endless possibilities reflecting in her eyes. "Do you really believe that?" "I do," Sarah replied, her voice steady. "And you should too. We're just getting started." But even as she spoke the words aloud, doubt lingered at the edge of her mind. What if this wasn't just about the work? What if this marked the beginning of Sarah's struggle with letting go of the fear that had haunted her since her husband left? The day of the meeting arrived, bright and crisp. The air was charged with anticipation as they prepared the final touches on their presentation. Lily looked radiant, her confidence shining through. Sarah, however, felt like raw nerves wrapped in skin, a lump forming in her throat. "Remember, no matter what happens today, we did this together. We took risks," Lily said, her voice filled with strength. Sarah took a breath and nodded, forced to keep her own fears at bay. As they left the house and drove to the meeting location, the sun filtered through the trees. It was an immaculate day, one that felt full of promise. Yet with every turn they made, Sarah's heart sank a little deeper with the weight of doubt. When they finally arrived, the moment of truth was seconds away. Would this be the day they turned everything around? Or would it be yet another step into treacherous waters? As they stepped inside, Sarah's pulse raced. The stakes were higher than she ever anticipated, and all she could hope for was the sound of applause, and not disappointment. But as they entered the conference room, she spotted not just the entrepreneur, but others whose opinions could make or break them. The bustling vibe of the room sent a shiver down her spine. In that moment, Sarah wondered if they could truly make a difference. Would Lily's dreams ignite, or would her fire flicker out? And as she took a deep breath ready to take that first step forward, she was hit by a powerful thought. What if today changed everything? As the door to the conference room swung open, Sarah felt a wave of heat wash over her. The eyes in the room turned, and for a fleeting moment, she lost her breath. There were 5 people seated at the long table, all of them wearing expressions ranging from curiosity to skepticism. The entrepreneur they'd been preparing for was sitting directly at the head, a notebook poised in front of him. Lily's hand squeezed hers tightly, a reassuring anchor. "We got this, Mom," she whispered, her confidence radiating in waves. Taking a deep breath, Sarah stepped forward, leading Lily through the doorway. Instantly, the atmosphere shifted. It felt electric and charged with potential, but a nagging fear lurked beneath the surface. As they took their seats, Sarah noticed how her trembling hands steadied slightly under the weight of determination. The presentation began with Lily taking the lead, her voice rising above the ambient noise in the room. "Thank you for meeting with us today. We're thrilled to share our vision for Stardust." As she spoke, Sarah watched her daughter transform, each word unlocking layers of passion and creativity. The idea they had crafted together was bursting forth like a brilliant sunrise against the horizon. Sarah's heart swelled with pride. This was Lily, brave, intelligent, driven. In that moment, all the sleepless nights, the worry, the doubts, seemed overshadowed by the light emanating from her daughter. "Stardust isn't just another app," Lily continued, her conviction igniting the air. "It's a space where creativity and technology collide, allowing our users to express themselves and connect in meaningful ways." But as the pitch unfolded, Sarah's mind wandered. She scrutinized the expressions around the table. The entrepreneur seemed engaged, nodding, but 2 others exhibited skeptical frowns. What if they couldn't see the beauty in this idea? What if they dismissed Lily's dreams outright? The tension in the room hung palpably, and Sarah's chest tightened. "Focus on the vision," she reminded herself, trying to drown out the whispers of worry. As Lily presented a demo of the app, showcasing its sleek interface and intuitive design, something shifted in the room. The quiet murmur of surprise filled the air. Sarah felt the stirrings of hope mingle with her anxiety. If they could just get through this. Then the unexpected happened. One of the stern-looking board members leaned forward, eyes bright. "I have to say, I'm genuinely impressed. The idea has something I haven't seen before." Lily's breath caught in her throat, the glimmer of possibility lighting her features. "Really? Yes, but... He hesitated, letting the moment stretch. I need to know how you plan to differentiate yourself in this saturated market. Lily paused, her smile fading slightly as she faced the challenge head-on. Sarah could almost see the gears turning in her daughter's mind. Lily, show them the depth, Sarah's inner voice urged. This was Lily's moment. She needed to communicate everything they had worked so hard for. With renewed poise, Lily engaged the panel, articulating their unique approach, how personal experiences would create connections in ways other apps hadn't ventured. She illuminated how Stardust was more than just functionality. It was about creating community, support, and understanding. The tension in the room began to ease, smiles edging onto faces. The entrepreneur stole glances at the others, nodding, a reluctant admiration creeping in. By the end of the session, Lily had transformed trepidation into triumph. The meeting flowed with back-and-forth dialogue, questions and ideas sparking like fireworks. The energy was palpable, a vibrant exchange of vision and hope. But as Sarah left the room, trailing behind Lily, one cold thought gnawed at her. What were they willing to risk? What if everything went wrong? Out in the sunlit corridor, she turned to Lily, who had a radiant smile plastered on her face. Did you see how they reacted? I did, Mom. I think it went well, Lily replied, bouncing on her toes. Yeah, but what if they don't believe in it as much as we do? Lily's excitement dimmed slightly, a flash of uncertainty crossing her face. But they seemed interested. We just need to keep pushing. As they walked to their car, hope battled against doubt in Sarah's mind. What did this all mean for their future? How much change was coming, and were they truly prepared for it? As they slid into the car, the reality of their moment struck Sarah like a physical blow. Could they face the challenges ahead? Could they endure whatever came next? And with those thoughts lingering, Sarah took one last look at Lily, her heart full of love and fear. As the car engine roared to life, it became clearer than ever. This was far from over. What awaited them on the other side of this newfound excitement? As the car rolled down the street, Sarah's hands gripped the steering wheel tighter than needed. The sun cast a warm glow over the dashboard, but in her heart, a storm brewed. What if this was it? What if this moment of hope was just the calm before a chaotic storm? Mom? Lily's voice cut through her thoughts, a sweet reminder of the life blooming beside her. Do you think they'll call us? I hope so, Sarah replied, feigning a smile. Her mind spiraled. The weight of their dreams felt heavier now as it danced between optimism and dread. I'm sure they will. They loved the app, you saw it, Lily chirped, her youthful exuberance radiating like sunshine. Yet, even in her daughter's enthusiasm, Sarah detected a hint of anxiety that mirrored her own. They pulled into the driveway, and as Sarah turned off the engine, she caught a glimpse of their small front yard. Flowers were blooming, seemingly oblivious to the turmoil inside. It reminded her of all the times they had tended to their garden together, nurturing it through rain and shine. Maybe that was the key, nurturing their dreams, just like their flowers. We should celebrate, Lily exclaimed, unclipping her seatbelt and bouncing out of the car. I could go for pizza, maybe even ice cream after. The thought of pizza and ice cream brought a fleeting smile to Sarah's face, summoning fond memories of times spent laughing and sharing. Pizza sounds great, she replied, fighting back the urge to worry. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, all right? Lily nodded, a hint of seriousness crossing her features for bare seconds. Okay, but just think, Mom. If they invest, we can make Stardust a reality. We could change lives. Right, Sarah murmured, her head swimming with thoughts of possibility and fear. They climbed out and made their way to the kitchen. As she began pulling out ingredients to make the pizza dough, her mind echoed Lily's words. Would they really change lives? Or were they just chasing a dream, one that could crumble as easily as the dough beneath her hands? The dough felt smooth and pliable in her hands, a comforting distraction. She punched it down, releasing her built-up tension. Want to help with toppings, Lil? She called over her shoulder. Sure. Lily's voice was bright, filled with energy as she joined her mother in the kitchen. She began sorting through the array of toppings, her enthusiasm contagious. Sarah couldn't help but match her daughter's vibe under all the clouds overhead. "Mom, what do you think we should do if they say yes?" Lily asked, her eyes glimmering with excitement as she carefully arranged cheese on a plate. "Well, first we celebrate, right? Then we plan. We go through everything and make sure we're fully prepared for the next steps," Sarah replied, pouring her thoughts into each word, hoping to solidify a sense of purpose amidst her doubts. "Right. And then we could reach out to more people, maybe even partners. Imagine a team working together." Lily filled in with enthusiasm as she slid slices of pepperoni onto the pizza. Each slice was a heartbeat of hope, lending Sarah's own heart a jolt of energy. As they waited for the pizza to bake, they settled onto the couch, a sense of togetherness enveloping them. Lily flicked on the television, but neither of them really paid attention. They were lost in thoughts about the possibilities. The minutes dragged on, each second a countdown to what could be a pivotal moment in their lives. Then, just as tension began to thicken again, the phone rang. Sarah's heart dropped to her stomach, a mix of dread and anticipation. "It could be them," she breathed, exchanging a glance with Lily, whose wide eyes mirrored her own. "Answer it," Lily urged, bouncing slightly on the couch. With a shaking hand, Sarah reached for the phone, her heart racing. The voice on the other end was familiar. Their lawyer. "Sarah, I have news about your pitch." Her breath hitched, and she could barely hear the rest of the words. What did it mean for them? Would it be what they hoped for, or the start of something far more challenging? "Okay, I'm listening," Sarah managed, anxiety tight in her throat and her future unfurling like a crimson rose waiting to blossom, if that blossoming didn't lead to thorns. And with that, everything hung in the balance. What would the next chapter of their story reveal? "Sarah, they've decided to move forward with your pitch." The lawyer's voice was steady, but Sarah felt her heart clenching in disbelief. "They want to invest." The room spun around her like a carousel of emotions. Elation, relief, fear. The words landed in her chest like a warm rain after a long drought. Lily's wide eyes sparkled with an intoxicating mixture of surprise and joy, as if the sun had just burst through a cloudy sky. "Are you serious?" Sarah replied, her breathless excitement barely contained. She could hardly process the reality that they'd taken a step closer to their dream. "Yes, but there are a few conditions they'd like to discuss in person." "Conditions?" Her mind raced again, a veil of caution settling in. She exchanged a glance with Lily, whose face was painted with optimism. Yet Sarah felt a tremor of fear. What would this mean? What strings might be attached? "They're very interested in your vision, Sarah. They want to ensure the project aligns with their values," the lawyer continued, seemingly aware of her trepidation. "Focus on those discussions. This could lead to something significant for both of you." A thrill coursed through her, igniting the flame of hope that had flickered dangerously low. "When can we meet?" she asked, a sense of urgency creeping into her tone. "Tomorrow at noon. I'll send you the details." "Thank you," she whispered, suddenly feeling dizzy with the possibilities. She hung up the phone and turned to Lily, who was practically bouncing on her toes, her excitement radiating through the room. "They said yes!" Sarah exclaimed, pulling Lily into a tight embrace. Lily squealed in delight, and her laughter sparkled like music in the air. In that moment, all the fears that had gripped Sarah's heart momentarily faded away, replaced by the warmth of their shared enthusiasm. "Can we celebrate now? Pizza and ice cream?" Lily asked, beaming up at her mother. "Absolutely, let's make it a feast." They rushed back to the kitchen, and together they spread the dough with newfound exuberance. As they meticulously arranged the toppings, their laughter filled the home, every giggle a note in their symphony of bridging dreams. "Mom," Lily said suddenly, her tone shifting to something more serious. "What if they ask us to change everything about Stardust? What if they don't see what we see?" Sarah paused, her heart momentarily stumbling at the question. "That could happen, sweetie, but we need to hold on to our vision. We'll listen carefully and find a middle ground. Stardust has to stay true to us." "Do you think we can do it?" Lily's voice wrapped around Sarah's heart, vulnerable and hopeful. Yes, but we need to be strong together. The aroma of baking pizza filled the air, mingling with the bittersweet taste of uncertainty. Joy brought them together, but the looming decision weighed heavily in Sarah's stomach. They finished dinner, sharing slices and dreams, the barriers of fear diminishing with each bite. After they cleared away the plates, Sarah sat beside Lily, whose eyes sparkled with an eagerness similar to the day they'd first started dreaming about stardust. As the evening colors faded into night, an intense drive sparked within Sarah, a confidence she hadn't felt in a long time. Yet there was a shadow of apprehension lingering behind her excitement. Tomorrow would not only determine their professional lives, but also test the very essence of who they were as a team. "Lily," she said quietly, now staring into the dim light of the kitchen. "Promise me, no matter what, we stick together." "Promise," Lily grinned, sealing the pact with an exaggerated pinky swear. That night, as Sarah lay in bed, sleep eluded her. Her mind raced with thoughts of meetings, investment, and their dreams on the line. Her heart quivered with a mixture of fear and hope. Tomorrow would change everything. With a deep breath, she closed her eyes, wondering whether their tiny spark of an idea could ignite into something monumental. The weight of what lay ahead settled on her shoulders, but her spirit shone brighter with possibility. What would tomorrow bring? And were they truly ready for the journey ahead? The sun crept through the curtains, its golden rays painting the room in soft shades of amber. Sarah awoke to the sound of her alarm blaring, its urgency pulling her from a restless sleep. The clock read 7 a.m. Her heart raced as she remembered the meeting that lay ahead. Today was not just another day. It was a turning point. "Mom, are you up?" Lily's voice echoed from down the hall, a chirpy reminder of the excitement that hung thick in the air. "Yes, I'll be right there," Sarah called back, forcing herself to sit up. The reality of what was to come sank in, stirring a mix of anxiety and anticipation. She took a deep breath, reminding herself of the promise she made to Lily. As they sat at the breakfast table, the memories of last night washed over them. The laughter, the hopeful glances, the dream they shared felt like a light pushing back against the shadows of doubt. But the taste of the day was bittersweet, as Sarah pondered the terms that could come their way. Lily crunched her cereal loudly, oblivious to her mother's anxiety. Somehow in the innocence of her child, Sarah drew strength. "Hey, how about we give Stardust a special vibe today?" Lily suggested, her eyes twinkling with mischief. "What do you mean?" Sarah asked, intrigued. "We could wear our Stardust shirts, and maybe you can even put on some of your bright lipstick." Lily beamed, her enthusiasm contagious. Feeling a smile break through her tension, Sarah agreed. "All right. Stardust colors it is." They finished breakfast in a flurry of giggles, the morning light brightening their spirits as they rushed to get ready. The clock was ticking away, and soon they were standing outside the building where their meeting was set to take place. Tremors danced in her stomach as they approached the glass doors. It felt like standing at the edge of a cliff, exhilarated yet terrified at what lay below. "Mom, can we nail this?" Lily's voice broke her reverie. Sarah knelt to her level, their eyes locking. "We will, together." They linked arms, confidence and trepidation mingling in their hearts as they walked inside. As they entered the conference room, the energy shifted. The investors, a mix of stern faces and sharp suits, greeted them with polite smiles. Sarah reminded herself to breathe. "Welcome, Sarah, and you must be Lily," one investor said, his voice booming with authority. "We've gone through your presentation and we'd like to hear more about your vision for Stardust." With each passing moment, words started pouring out of Sarah, her passion igniting the room. She spoke of dreams and creativity, of how Stardust could become a beacon of inspiration. She could feel the energy change, shifting from caution to curiosity, lighting a spark of hope. But as she finished her pitch and awaited their response, the investor's expression turned serious. "We appreciate your vision, but—" He paused dramatically. "We need to discuss our conditions." Sarah's heart sank. Would this be the moment everything crashed down? Could she hold on to their dream, or would it wither under the weight of someone else's expectations? "Tell me," she said, her voice steady, although internally her heart raced. You'll need to adjust your marketing strategy first. We believe you can reach a larger audience, but it will involve some significant changes. A tightness gripped her chest. Significant changes? The investors nodded, as if each one understood the gravity of the decision looming in the air. Sarah glanced at Lily, whose innocent eyes reflected understanding, yet confusion. What did this mean for their dream? With every second feeling like an eternity, Sarah fought to summon the strength she'd promised Lily. "Can we dive deeper into what you have in mind?" she asked, her voice unwavering even as her heart quivered. As the conversation flowed, Sarah realized she was at a crossroads. The fight for Stardust's identity was just beginning. Would she be able to protect the essence of their dream amidst changes? And at what cost? The stakes had never been higher, and her heart pounded with a mix of fear and fierce determination. One thing was clear: she would never let go of Stardust without a battle. With the first rays of hope brightening her resolve, she wondered if she was truly prepared to defend everything they'd built together. As they moved deeper into the discussion, one question loomed in Sarah's mind. How much would she be willing to compromise for success? The room buzzed with attention so thick it felt like a weight pressing down on Sarah's shoulders. She could feel the eyes of the investors analyzing every flicker of her expression. Uncertainty gnawed at her insides, but she couldn't let it show. After hours of pouring her heart into Stardust, she had come too far to back down now. "Let's talk about your marketing strategy," one investor said, flicking through his notes. "We believe you're not reaching your target demographic effectively. Your product has potential, but we need to rebrand it to attract a wider audience." Rebranding. The word echoed in her mind like a distant rumble of thunder. Sarah bit her lip, trying to maintain composure. What did that mean for the essence of Stardust? Would changing its heart mean losing what made it special? "What do you envision for the new strategy?" she asked, her voice steady, though she could hear the slight tremor beneath it. The lead investor leaned forward, a gleam in his eye. "We'd like to focus on a more modern, trendy aesthetic. Think bold colors, edgy designs. It's about capturing attention in a crowded market." Lily's eyes widened as she listened. Sarah sensed her daughter's confusion. Stardust was not just a product. It was a blend of their lives, a reflection of their dreams. To change it felt like losing a piece of themselves. "But we can incorporate some of the original charm," the investor continued, misreading Sarah's hesitation. "The history is lovely, but it needs a stronger punch. Fresh ideas will help launch it into the mainstream." Sarah felt a whirlwind of emotions. The promise she had made to keep Stardust authentic stared her in the face, a lucid reminder of her priorities. "You don't understand," she said, her voice rising slightly, catching the attention of the investors. "Stardust isn't just a product to me. It represents hope, creativity, and the bond between my daughter and me. If we change it too much, we risk losing its soul." The silence that followed was palpable. Sarah's pulse pounded in her ears. Had she crossed a line? Would her defiance cost them the deal? The lead investor studied her, his expression unreadable. "A valid point," he finally said, nodding slowly. "But you must understand that without growth and change, even the most beloved brands can become stale." What Sarah thought would be a harsh rebuttal turned into a possible opening. It was a chance to negotiate terms that could keep Stardust alive without losing its core. She closed her eyes for a brief second, contemplating her next words, weighted with significance. "I'm open to discussing ways to evolve Stardust while preserving its heart," she finally said, a newfound strength swelling within her. "But we need to find that balance together." As the discussion continued, Sarah felt the momentum shift. She wasn't just defending her dream, she was actively shaping its future. Whatever lay ahead, she wouldn't shy away from fighting for what mattered. Just then, the room fell silent as one investor cleared his throat. "Sarah, tell us about your vision for Stardust in 5 years. If we go down this path together, what does success look like to you?" Sarah took a deep breath, trying to focus amid the swirling chaos of thoughts. 5 years. The timeline loomed before her like a vast landscape. In that moment, she realized it wasn't just about numbers or marketing changes. It was about the legacy she wanted to build with Lily, one that would carry their dreams far beyond what she had ever imagined. Staring into the eyes of the investors, she felt a spark of clarity. Success to me means creating a community of dreamers and creators, a place where children can find inspiration and parents can feel proud of products that resonate with love. There was a flicker of intrigue on their faces. Perhaps she was getting through after all. Yet, deep inside, Sarah could still feel the weight of the unknown pressing in. As they moved towards the next phases of negotiation, one thought burned brightly in her mind. How far would she go to truly make her dreams a reality? "Let's keep these lines of communication open," she suggested, her determination glaring through. The investors nodded, but would they truly understand and respect Stardust's vision? With every passing minute, Sarah knew that this was a defining moment, and she was ready to face whatever came next. The discussions intensified, swirling around her like leaves caught in a gust of wind. Investors debated numbers and percentages, but Sarah felt herself tuning out their financial jargon. She stayed anchored to her vision, a beacon amid the storm. "Let's move towards a more lifestyle-oriented campaign," suggested another investor, his fingers tapping rhythmically on the table. "If we can get social media influencers on board, we'll captivate the younger crowd." Sarah's chest tightened. The idea sounded appealing, but she couldn't shake the image of Stardust's essence being diluted. "I understand that influencers have power, but I want the messaging to resonate deeply," she said, searching for the right words. "It's not just about flashing lights and catchy phrases. It's about genuine connections." Lily, who had been quietly observing, suddenly leaned in. "Mom, can you tell them about the kids at school? The way they have fun making things and sharing stories? Stardust should celebrate that," she added, her voice steady yet bright. Sarah looked at her daughter, pride swelling within her. "Yes, exactly. Stardust should inspire children to create, not just buy." The investors exchanged glances, their curiosity visibly piqued. "Interesting angle," the lead investor commented, stroking his chin thoughtfully. "Children's creativity is powerful. Perhaps focusing on workshops or community events could work." "Yes." Lily's enthusiasm was infectious. "We could do craft days or storytelling nights. People can share ideas and make things together." Sarah felt a rush of hope. They had flipped the conversation to their advantage, finding a common ground. "Imagine Stardust not just as a product, but as a movement," she said, gathering her strength. "We want to foster creativity and community while staying true to our roots." As the room gradually buzzed with excitement, Sarah's heart raced with renewed determination. But just as she began to feel a shift toward victory, a new voice interrupted. "What if we hit a snag in production?" One of the less enthusiastic investors spoke up. "What are your contingency plans? You know how fickle the market can be." The weight of his words settled over her like a cold shadow. "Every business has risks," she responded, squeezing her hands under the table, hoping to mask her growing apprehension. "But I believe in adaptability. If we stay committed to our mission, Stardust will resonate with the community on a level that protects us." The investors nodded, cautiously intrigued, but doubt flickered in the air like a distant storm. They were open to insight but needed real, solid assurances. "All right, Sarah," the lead investor replied slowly. "We're interested, but we need to see a tangible plan of action, a roadmap, if you will. Can you deliver something like that?" Sarah's mind raced. She had done plenty of dreaming but now required a concrete plan, one that captured her vision and addressed their fears. It felt monumental, like climbing a steep mountain without a map. Could she do it? "There's definitely a path," Sarah asserted, her voice gaining momentum. "One that highlights our mission and incorporates your ideas too. I'll put together a proposal. We all want Stardust to shine in the market. It just needs to reflect what it truly is." Lily squeezed her hand, grounding her just as she had in their early days of building Stardust. After a few more discussions around logistics and timelines, the investors seemed satisfied. They agreed to reconvene next week to review Sarah's proposal. As they packed up, Sarah felt both exhilarated and terrified. She was on the brink of something big, yet the thought of crafting that detailed plan made her insides knot. How could she represent not only the business, but the heartbeat of what Stardust truly meant to her and Lily? Driving home, the city lights blurred through her anxious thoughts. Each flicker of light reminded her that she was not just fighting for Stardust anymore, she was fighting for a legacy. But deep down, would her ideas be enough to win them over? Would they see the beauty and vulnerability and creativity? Or was this just the beginning of a challenging reckoning? The truth lay ahead, waiting to be unveiled. Would Sarah step into it with enough courage? The sun dipped low on the horizon, casting golden rays across Maplewood. Sarah's heart thudded against her ribcage as she pulled into her driveway. The meeting had been a whirlwind, and now a million thoughts tangled in her mind. She stepped out of the soft warmth of the car, letting the cool breeze settle her nerves a bit. Lily burst onto the porch, her face glowing with enthusiasm. "Mom, how did it go? Did they love Stardust?" she exclaimed, bouncing on the balls of her feet, an electric energy radiating off of her. "They loved the idea, but—" Sarah paused, her heart heavy with the weight of what lay ahead. "They want a detailed plan, and they suggested some significant changes to our branding." "But Mom, it's what Stardust is all about." Lily's excitement flickered. "We can't change what makes it us." "I know, Lil," Sarah replied, kneeling to meet her daughter's gaze. "But we don't have to lose our heart. We'll find a way to keep it true to who we are and still appeal to their vision." With determination shining in her daughter's wide eyes, they made their way into the kitchen, the familiar smell of cinnamon wafting in. Remnants of the afternoon's baking adventure. The aroma wrapped around them like a warm embrace. "How do we do that?" Lily asked, curiosity piquing. "Let's brainstorm. We need all the brilliant ideas we can get." Sarah felt a surge of excitement. This was the moment to combine their dreams and tackle the challenge ahead together. They cleared the kitchen table, pulling out colorful markers, sticky notes, and an enormous roll of paper. Ideas flowed between them like laughter, their bond strengthened by the shared enthusiasm. Each note captured a vision, a creative community that celebrated each child's unique vibe, a workshop where imagination danced in every corner, and stories that soared high like the sky. As the hours melted away, Sarah felt the invisible strings of fear loosen their grip. They had come together, carving out a dynamic plan that infused their heart into Stardust. Each idea ignited not just hope, but a fierce pride that resonated deep within her chest. "Let's do it, Mom," Lily cheered, her smile brimming with boundless potential. "We're going to show them what Stardust really means." That night, they stayed up late, doubled over in papers and ideas. With every note scribbled, every concept fine-tuned, the atmosphere was electric. When dawn broke, the world seemed anew. Sarah stood in the kitchen, feeling a resilience blossom within her. This wasn't just about an app. It was a family legacy, a beacon of light in a sometimes dark world. As the warmth of the sun spilled through the window, she resolved to not just defend Stardust's essence, but to expand it. With a steaming cup of coffee in hand, she called her lawyer. "I'm ready to pitch them our way forward. We'll keep our vision intact, but make it compelling enough for them to see what we see." The meeting that followed was a dance of powerful energy. Sarah and Lily presented not just a polished proposal, it was laced with their shared dreams, each element bursting with authenticity and purpose. The investors listened intently, their skepticism morphing into intrigue. "I love this direction," the lead investor said, his previously furrowed brow now relaxed. "You've created a vision that feels fresh yet grounded. It's what the market needs. It's not just a product, it's a community." As discussions flew around the table, Sarah felt as though she were rising from the depths of uncertainty. Their vision was unfolding, blending authentic identity with innovative strategies, and confidence ignited within her like a candle set ablaze. And just like that, they sealed the deal, not merely as a business transaction, but a promise to foster creativity and cement community. The weight on Sarah's shoulders dissolved, replaced with an overwhelming joy. Back in their car, parked outside, Lily's face glowed with an exuberance Sarah had missed in recent months. "Mom, we did it," Lily squealed, her voice spilling over with joy. Her laughter rang like music, echoing their shared success. "Together, we built something incredible," Sarah said, hugging her daughter tight. It was their journey, their dream, crafted from perseverance, love, and unbreakable spirit. In the months that followed, Stardust flourished, a true beacon for the community, igniting creativity and wave after wave of children and families desperate for connection. Workshops flourished, where laughter and creation intertwined, stitching together the fabric of their town in vivid colors. As they stood at the community event, watching children paint, create, and dream, tears of joy swelled in Sarah's eyes. She glanced over at Lily. They shared a radiant smile, a connection deepened by their trials, their victories, a relentless spirit that found its way amidst the darkness. In that moment, Sarah realized, the journey would always have its challenges, but facing them together made all the difference. Her heart was full, brimming with hope, transformation, and a legacy forged from dreams. Before they parted for the evening, as the sunset painted the sky with colors akin to their Stardust vision, Sarah spoke from her heart. "We're a team, and together, there's nothing we can't achieve." With a hand held tightly in hers, they faced the future, stepping boldly towards an unimaginable horizon, a new tapestry woven from dreams and unwavering love. For your journey is just beginning too. You need to subscribe now to join us in discovering more amazing stories that inspire. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us reach more hearts. Comment below to share how this story touched you and what you felt in your heart. And don't wait, not even one more second, to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support for the power of dreams.